So this is my first video camera of myself. So I have a different kind of story going on. It's with changes to Scyph and the Family. It's I have a different name for Safani too. It's spelt Sifaunie this time. It still has the same kind of pronunciation, but uh, I thought when I looked up Safani in Google, it didn't really pop up. It was a unique name, but for the name itself, the pronunciation, I think other people would pronounce it as Symphony, not the pronunciation I had intended for it. Um, but and I changed the letters so that it does pronunciate as you would see it, and I do like the way it looks too. It looks exotic, I guess you can say. But anyways, uh, I wrote up on the Google Docs the the kind of powers that we get from the ritual from the Sarthans to seal in our magic ability, and it's I got it here on my computer. Wrote it down to Google Docs, so you can take a look at it at any time. And I've got more in depth into the castle aspect, where uh, the different kind of people that's living there, and instead of I know that there's been trainers and trainees for like the rangers and snipers or the specialized forces in my military, but I also put in like the assistants, which I guess you could say in comparison to the servants in medieval time, but they're not slaves or anything like that. They're in the same respect in the community as everyone else, and but they are mainly assistants to like the trainers and the cooks or farmers or anything like that. There's the farmers that live there. They tend to the crop that's immediately surrounding the castle, inside the walls or outside those sloped walls. And the cooks, obviously to cook, they're mainly to cook for the workforce as well as the trainers and trainees. Um, and there's some kitchens in the dining facilities in which you can cook your own food. Also, it's not uncommon for them to cook for other people too, but their main purpose is to cook for the workforce. And there is engineers. They also live there to help facilitate the integrity of the castle as well as the improvements that can be made. And that's all I've set up so far. And also, the families of those workers, they also live in the castle. Um, and that's basically all I have so far for the personnel that lives in there. And then I go into the prominent physical features of the Cordon family. So the features that I want to go into for right now is the glowing green eyes, and every one of us has it. For myself, or Scyph, he has the glowing eyes when he exerts a certain amount of energy naturally. And his eyes glow green the more his body needs to rely on the magic within him to grant him the strength, and it ultimately gives him a huge boost in stamina. Cosette, she has her eyes are constantly glowing green. They start out faint, but the glow in her eyes will grow in intensity the more she wants to put force into an attack or any of her actions, which can be a bad thing if you know what to look for. Also makes her telegraph her shots and all that, but this also gives her a huge boost in speed too. So if you can keep up, then good on you. So even her slim figure, she's able to put if she wants, to put an enormous amount of force that can, behind a single punch, that can destroy bones, organs within those bones, and send people flying. So mainly hers is enormous strength and speed, because she'll also put that force into her legs, and that'll give her a massive boost uh, in her strides, which makes her in turn faster. And then Scyphone's eyes don't follow the same principle as Scyph or Cosette in terms of exerting force to make those eyes glow. Hers, she can exert as much force as she wants. They won't glow. Hers only glows depending on the light conditions. So if it's complete darkness, her eyes will glow bright. But as the light comes in, they'll start to fade and fade and fade until the sun's up and it's broad daylight, and her eyes will just be natural hue of green. And the reason for why it glows during the night is because it grants her night vision. So she'll be able to see completely clear in the night as if she were in daylight. So because the green eyes revert back to a natural hue when light comes in, she doesn't get blinded by glare, or she's not like a mole person, like a person who is taken away from sunlight for long amounts of times and needs to adjust. She doesn't need to adjust at all. So she's able to see just fine in the day, just fine in the evening, just fine in complete darkness. But I'm also not saying that if she looks directly at the sun that she will still see fine. It'll still blind her because looking at the sun directly is never a good idea. And I put in some different stories to kind of talk about their physical attributes in a different perspective. So Scyph's attributes is strength, durability, and stamina, while Cosette's is overwhelming strength and speed, and then Scyphone is strength and night vision. Also for Scyphone, her strength is she's still really strong. She could rival a strong man for how small she is, for the size of her body. So she's not the strongest of the Cordon family, but she is still one of the strongest people out there. And okay, so these stories, I just wrote them down for fun, and here we go. So starting off with Scyph's. Now, imagine being an enemy and you see this one man taking on many men. This man already tough to hurt because of the heavy armor that he's wearing, but also his unwavering and relentless attacks, which never seem to drop in intensity. You would think that he would at least slow down because of the heavy equipment he's wearing, but the longer you wait, the larger your fear grows, because that's just more men dead and the less men between him and you. You might as well start running while you can. And so that's it for Scythe, and here's Cosette's. So if you were a strong and hulking enemy that approaches this frail looking woman and horrendously underestimates her, and would begin to taunt the other warriors for hiding behind such a fragile woman. However, you would begin to question why this woman starts approaching you, and you become angry because your taunts do not work and the confident smile on her face does not disappear. You take your great weapon and slam down upon the woman, but she easily dodges your attack and is instantly in front of you in the blink of an eye, and throws a punch with enough force to not only send you flying a few dozen feet, but to crush your bones and the organs beneath them, causing instant death. Your fellow comrades should be scared, that's for sure. Okay, and here's Scyphoni's. Okay, so here we go. In the pitch black dark, one could mistake this green glow for a wisp in the night, or a mysterious glow that flickers in and out from time to time. If you were an enemy, you would scream in pain from an arrow that pierced your body. You would be completely caught off guard, confused and panicked. The fear would grow as more of your comrades start screaming and becoming silent through death. You question to yourself, what in the world is happening and how is this even possible? There is always a fear in death, and usually it is uncertain. However, in this case, the fear of death becomes exponentially overwhelming, with factors like confusion, darkness, uncertainty, and that green glowing light seared upon your mind, that which started this epidemic. Your friends want to run, but where can they go? They can't see anything in the darkness. So there's that for short, fun little stories. That's what I really wanted to show you. But yeah, that's it for this episode, and I hope you liked it. See what you think.